And hello everyone, welcome to another Friday evening, night, or whatever time zone you're at, live stream from Strange Loop Games. And tonight we have a community server, so just to give a quick kind of introduction to everyone as well, if you're new on the streams and haven't seen us before. My name is Jens, working as lead game designer at Strange Loop Games. And with us we have our Australian mastermind in arts, Toby.
Hello. I don't really have anything else to say except for hello, but that's okay.
That is probably fine. Well,
it's very early in the morning for me, so I'll warm up as we continue. But hello.
Yeah.
Nice to be here. There we go.
And then we have Mr. Roboto with us here. That is the owner of Ordo Pullorum Robotici, which is, well, you can probably introduce yourself and go through.
Good morning. We've been running a server for 33 seasons now. The eco admin, Chicken Clucker, is the owner. Much thanks to him. And we just enjoy playing the game, bringing joy to the community, and creating mods for all of you.
Yeah. So we have, as I said, we got it's a community streamlight thing, so we don't really have too much on 10 to give out at the moment. We've got another community stream next week as well, and then we'll be back on some fun new things for 10 and kind of giving more updates in that. So I think we can just take it away and just do that. And we got some gameplay screen sharing here to go.
All right, ready to rock and roll?
Ready to rock and roll. Take
us
away.
Folks, want to welcome you to OPR, Ordo Pullorum Robotici. Again, a big thanks to the SLG dev team for allowing us to share our eco experience with you all today. One of the first things I kind of want to talk about is one of the big things that makes this game very different from a lot of other sandbox games out there, and that is the law system. Eco is a fantastic game, and one of the big things that we look forward as a community is kind of crafting what our experience will be each round. And through the laws, your gameplay experience can be vastly different. One of the big main goals is to shoot the meteor down, but kind of in the interim, folks need to spend some time working together and figuring out how to develop a strategy to do just that, shooting the meteor. And one of the things that ends up happening sometimes is it's a perfectly acceptable outcome where complete failure is what happens. So as things like economic rivalries come up, embargoes, you have trade pacts that are created between players, you have monetary policy that's sometimes complicated, and some people can't agree on what they want to do. And pollution often is a serious issue, and figuring out how to keep mass industrialization in check so you don't flood the world. Our record was 16 blocks above sea level. With so many things that could go wrong, how can it be? How bad really can it be? Well, from experience, really bad. One time we were so upside down in the pollution level is that the animals just existing in the world was causing sea level rise, and every tree was dead, and the ice biome was a grassland. That's how bad it can be. So again, failure can be an option. And that sometimes the best experiences is learning from those failures. So in our world, we generally start with some basic laws. If folks choose to set up complex laws, it's kind of up to them. It is a player-run experience after all. But as an admin team, we really do try to simply set up basics where others can expand on those things. And we're pretty chill about it all. One of the things to a fun playthrough is how you'll circulate money. A lot of the servers out there tend to have a starting currency. We are one of those servers, and it tends to kind of grease the wheels of the economy to start with. Not to say that the vanilla experience without the currency and doing the bartering trading off the start is not a good thing. It's just most people prefer the currency to start. So we do this through starting money. Based on your join time, you get a little extra. We also pay for stone roads and asphalt roads, and and this helps to get the logistics on the server going. We incentivize tree cutting and stumps in a small way, and we also have a little UBI out there for folks who are actively playing. We generally have a few paid titles that help manage the dump, and also help to build out the power grid. Lastly, we have an achievement system, which is kind of unique to our server. And as an example to that, there is, for cooks, there's a demographic that it gets developed after you have cooked 5,000 foods, and it's called Swedish Chef. And once you've achieved that tier level, you get $200 in game to then spend, and also just kind of a little notoriety as a result of you achieving that tier level. So we have several of those, cooks 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000, for example.
That's quite nice. I like that flavor thing where it's something that kind of sticks out as well, because I don't think I've seen titles or demographics being used in a way of giving notoriety or giving kind of a bit of a bump in terms of how you're presented on the server as throughout the server is going. I know I've seen a couple of servers that do like statistic tracking and show up in kind of like a high score scenario in the end game where they close down the cycle, and they'll have a bit of a show off on like who is doing what or where things have gone.
They're great names, by the way, as well. Just reading through them as you're scrolling.
We got a Mad Max reference in there.
Yeah, nice.
So this is just for farmers, loggers, miners, cooks, and road builders. And we'll talk a little bit about those a little later as we go along. We also have a whole slew of contracts that we generally use. We put up for player participation, building parks, bridges, housing, tunnels, road sections that are being built quickly enough, upgraded government buildings, and building the dump, for example. We found, for the most part, that this tends to keep the new money flowing into the market and kind of allow the players to choose their fun each day, because there's lots of contracts available. With that, we can go ahead and start the server tour, we have lots of fun planned for you all. Jens, you are authorized to my truck if you want to hop in. Otherwise, there is plenty available that you can also drive on your own. First off, we have our Capitol building, brought to you by Soaps Girl, modeled after the Arizona State Capitol.
Yeah, this one's awesome, and like the landscaping around it as well. There's a couple of like interesting mods that I've seen just in the gardens. You got fruit trees.
We do
That's
have
fun.
fruit trees as a custom mod for us that we just kind of added recently.
Yeah.
We start off with Finn's Fuel and Sundries, and using kind of a modern design with ashlar and in our first laser park here, we've got a little bit of sandstone and two lasers in that laser park ready to shoot the meteor. Got a little custom mod there in the distance with the water tower. And then here we are driving past the bakery, brought to you by Lula and Breadman. They were big on our server for a couple days, couple weeks in fact, and they built a lot of the buildings kind of that you see today. Athena's Food, cutting edge cooking, and utilizing Kai's EM bricks, purple and black, And then you can also see kind of on the top there, there's a custom silo that's been modified from the normal food silo to hold rocks, crushed rocks. And coming up here on our right, we have the Wawataki Hotel, brought to you by by Marcelo. 3 floors of lavish goodness, done in concrete and glass. And then we have our second laser park, brought to you by Wolfsky and Bobby. And then we have their logistics network building, brick and corrugated steel there. Wolfsky was one of our big road builders, kind of joined us a little later to help us out, get some of this stuff squared away. And we also have a mill here set up on the left-hand side by one of our millers.
It is a very, very urbanized city.
Built up for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of times where we check through worlds and so on, there's always like a myriad of small kind of early stage concoctions somewhere mixed in here and there. But here you've got like everything is either super industrialized in terms of scale, where with like bricks and so on, or it's like late tier 3, tier 4 materials with some exception decorations. It's looking quite nice.
On the right-hand side, we have the Pump and Go by Airstick Joker for all of your fuel needs. The pump itself is an actual mod by one of the community on Mod.io. It's actually a storefront, so you can buy directly from it. And then we have Stump Jumper's location here on the left. You can kind of see some of ERC metal construction blocks up there underneath the windmills. So it's kind of a very interesting use of that. We got Hex Kitchen, brought to you by Elisha and Rubber. They might have the cheapest foods. Debatable if they're the best. We pass our third laser installation, and this one is a modern tank by Britis. It's ready to defend the people of our community, equipped with the latest laser technology. Mostly out of flat steel.
That is some clever use of block forms.
It really is, yeah.
Passing here on our right, we got Weirdo's Medical Farm. I'm absolutely certain that only legal activities happen here. And according to the owner, that is the case. You can see that the property is wrapped with the ERC Hedges mod. For a little additional greenery.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some value to adding more kind of greenery decorations, be it either in block forms or just world objects or just like trees and whatnot. As we saw in the beginning there, we had the fruit trees being kind of a clever world object mod, so they're not restricted by biome growth or kind of habitability. They can just be used as just plain decorations. That was really clever, making it look really, really unique and funny.
Now we have the Papaya Park. One of the things about this particular build is that our community in the past, way back in the day on Org, there was the Great Papaya War of 2021, where the community took it upon themselves to eradicate, I think, all but 16 papayas in the world. And just so happens to be that most of those was on my property. And so I was the Great Papaya, bringing back the papayas to the world once they had cut everything down. So again, Papaya Park, kind of a homage to that, brought to you by Crazy Yankee.
Yeah,
one of the first.
Those types of scenarios are going to be interesting to see what happens when we do move over to the new updates. And say, I've been hammering down on making sure that we don't have that wild crop growth that you have right now. So those kind of mission objectives are probably gonna be a lot easier to accomplish. That'll be fun to see what that brings.
Mm.
Oh, look at that! A proper sized highway with lights and everything, and railings to the bridges.
The way people like me don't drive off the edges.
Yeah, or you don't bump into other people to cause them to drift off. That's quite nice.
I'm sure it's still possible.
Oh, I'm confident it is still possible.
So this build was brought to us by one of our friends, Mikado, hopped on our server to build a lighthouse for us, and utilizing some of OPR exclusive sand and ashlar, or sand and adobe bricks, and shale mixed in there. You can kind of see them on the tops there, the black brick. And then we also have some aged lumber that was used as part of the building process, which we just added a couple days ago. That's very nicely done. Brightens the way for our community.
Getting ready for boats.
Yes. Yeah, so we don't crash
and
sink them to the bottom.
It's a very cool lighthouse. I'm sure that's still possible as well.
So we're going to make our first stop here at the hydroponics garden because I wanted to feature this mod real quick for folks. This is at Ashland's hydroponics location. This is kind of an OPR community exclusive at this point. But it kind of adds to a more in-depth farming experience. And farmers, through their normal crop gathering process, will find mystery seeds and mystery plants, mystery roots, and jungle mystery seeds.
You want to go
and those are all found in different biomes.
You want to hop in first-person view just to get people can see the actual objects a bit better.
Yeah, these are really cool crafting tables.
Yeah,
like
actually,
this is really nice.
This one in particular is a custom blender build by my wife, and she did a really nice job on this. This is kind of her first model.
Oh wow!
In Blender.
That's awesome.
And what it kind of does here is it gives farmers an opportunity to build some tier two crop type foods, and these tier 2 foods are only available if another farmer finds them, or if you've found them yourself. So you have to have 10 of the crop type in order to make the seeds. But basically all they would do, and I'm going to see if I can get one here. I have one in my backpack just in case already, but the farmers would harvest. In this particular case, one of them comes from grasses, and so they're out harvesting plants. Oh, there it is! I got one. You see that? Now I got 2 of the mystery seeds. I wonder what it does. So they research it, and what do they find? In this particular case, they get a cucumber. Awesome. So we got we got kind of a random tier 2 food that you can get by exploring our natural environment, and these are all random. And so there's the 4 different kinds. There's you got your jungle plants, and you've got stuff in the grasslands area and the like. And so once you find them, then you can take them and turn them into additional crops.
That's a really fun mechanic. I like it a lot. Kind of reminds me of like playing Stardew or something like that.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. Yeah,
we talked about it a little bit yesterday when we were setting things up, where having this kind of randomized event that is kind of impacting your gameplay it's a really nice and kind of simple way to get more of an interactability for doing fairly static actions. And part of that, a small part of it already exists in terms of mining, where you're having that random chance of getting that full split of the chunk, or if you get that yellow piece extra shop thing where, you know, you never know if you're just going to get clean separation or if you're going to have that extra labor of adding or mining and piecing that other part out. But we only have that for mining specifically, so this way of doing it for things like gathering and farming in general is a quite cool concept.
It adds kind of a seek and find element and randomness, which can be frustrating to say the least.
Yeah.
I think there was, at the beginning of the game, there was a couple farmers who, I think they were trying to find spinach and it took them a while.
Yeah,
but we have another.
And you've got, if it's true random, it can be either a very hit and miss. If it happens quickly, or if you know you can find it in the first go, or you spend 4 days trying to find it and you got nothing.
Yeah. Collaboratively for sure.
Yeah, I like it personally. I think it's a great way to kind of get more interactions in there without superly breaking things per se, and the fact that you have that gated limitation, since that you can't craft everything from the get-go. You have to go through these steps of either, you know, researching or unlocking through continued efforts, you'd probably say.
Bit of a bison cameo there.
He's trying to get your lettuce.
Yep, he's trying to get my lettuce.
Feeling
So some people, you know, you'll be the first to have stuff. And then, they were kind of alluding, folks on the stream were kind of alluding to the fact that we added some trees to the game. And not only are they great decorations, but they're also crafting tables. And so for this particular one, this is kind of like a grapevine, and it produces grapes. And then we have a medium tree that does avocados and salmon berries. Then we have 3 different types of large trees, a lemon tree that produces bananas, lemons, and limes. And then apricots, oranges, and peach on the peach tree. And then lastly, our apple tree has got apples, cherries, pomegranates, and plums.
There is a large variety of added fruits and ingredients.
Yeah, most of those, you know, don't have a lot of recipes built in yet, but we're working on adding additional. And then we also have quite a few recipes for the tier 1 hydroponic station that actually utilize those crops specifically. For example, you know, cucumber salad and, you know, peas salad and stew peas and things like that help to bring those fruits or extra fruits into the game.
I don't suppose you're doing 3D models for these foods as well? It's a lot of added foods.
No.
That's fair. I understand.
It would be nice to be able to place them on the table.
It really would. Yes.
One of the other things that we kind of wanted to make sure that we did was to not foul up the existing farming process by eliminating the need for those basic crops to be made. And that's why this mod is an addition to versus crafting existing crops, right? So we don't want to change the current game mechanic and just add on another layer of complexity that people can enjoy. So that's kind of the hydroponics demo.
That's quite nice.
Very cool.
Just wanted to clarify for chat here. Were some questions regarding to like interactions and whatnot. If you do propose, like if you have like solid stated questions, we can bring them up and kind of discuss them a bit. But general update 10 content and things that revolve that is something that we kind of pass over, and as this is more about a community spotlight / display, do want to give as much space to Mr. Roboto here as much as possible, just to kind of let him go through and showcase his server, and making sure that he has the space to do that while we're doing it. So just Yeah, the Dennis replied there as well. But yeah, if you have like interesting questions for things related to the server or the mods in particular that's being used, more than happy to kind of go over those and give those a swirl. And as anything, just post your questions, and if it's something that is relevant and something that we can answer to straight off, just post them, and we'll answer as much as possible as we go through this.
One of the things that's difficult with modding is some of the plant sims require 4 different phases of plant growth, and unless you know how to create hooks into each of those different phases and build models for each of those, it certainly is challenging to create an in-game mod, which we are attempting to do. However, it's not as simple as I would like, for sure. For sure. And yes, it uses fish. The trees currently use fish, and we're going to migrate that to what we call the compost tea. And that's basically the calorie sink to make it so that the farmers are interacting additionally with the cooks.
Are you saying that the trees are not eating fish to produce apples? That's
Nope.
not how it works?
I'm pretty sure.
Well,
that's
what you
how
do
it
is you
works.
take fish and you throw them at the tree, and it produces apples.
See, that's what I thought. I was sure I've seen people outside here throwing fish at trees.
I'm pretty sure if you flog the fish with trees, you will get apples, yes. And on the we can take a look at abstract failures build here. This is the Simple Living Farms, done out of softwood lumber. Heading straight, going across one of our first bridges in brick and shale brick, and you can see a little bit of ERC metal construction in there to help hold the whole thing up.
Yeah, the suspensions and all.
One of our first tunnel embellishments done by Britis. Just a simple black on white. And obey traffic signs. And this is my personal build for the server this round. Ashlar, lots and lots of Ashlar. And then the Eye of Saruman watching over the community, making sure that everybody stays on task. Because we definitely had a short time leash on a lot of these things.
But Dennis pointed that out, like obeying traffic signs, but stops at the green light and goes at the yellow.
Yep, perfect. Yep, I am definitely doing good at that, and blocking the intersection, of course. We got a couple custom sign mods that we have in the game just to give some people some additional painting options. Here we are passing through Webb's Tunnel.
Look at that.
With a small oak tree divider. Don't drive off the edge, folks. There's no railings.
No.
That reminds me, Toby, we need to take a look at the tree colliders. I think oaks are probably one of the few trees that you can actually do that with, because the Ceiba, for instance, has a bit of an overgrowth, so it's blocking vehicles. Depending on, so that might be just to make sure that people are aware that some trees have some trees are a bit occupancy derived at the moment.
We chopped the branches off of ours.
That makes sense. Yeah. I remember looking at the Ceibas a while back and they were okay, but I'm not sure. That was when we were in develop, so.
That is one very overgrown farm.
Yeah, this is Einbrecker's mortar mansion, we like to call it. He's using a little bit of ERC hedges in there. And just very simple tier 1 design. Good for an early build.
Yeah, some mechanical power provision.
Yeah. Then here's Mikado's personal house that he built for us. A little bit of sand brick, a little bit of adobe brick, and use of the white lumber that we just added a couple days ago into the game, as well as the aged lumber on the front there. And then
Angel Lord's commenting that now he understands why the police car keeps following you around. You're constantly breaking the road rules.
yeah, this is a caravan. We need to have the officers making sure that people don't crowd the tour. Got Colliery Nasseries Country Villa here, done in mortared limestone. And you kind of see a cameo of one of Kopi's mods there with the wooden chest.
Yeah, I've
Nicely
seen a
done
few of
there
those
for
around.
Tier 1 building.
Yeah, there was some nice diamond parquet there in front with the floor tilings. That was
Kind of
quite
makes
nice.
a nice use of that's EM or EM road mod that allows people to have that brown offset. Here we are at Ashland's Stone Bridge, Stone Bridge and Owls.
Is that tall enough, Toby?
Oh,
I don't know if that one's tall enough to pass naval vehicular construction code.
so I have a feeling what will end up happening is when you guys do boats, we'll use industrial elevators to make a drawbridge.
Nice.
Yeah, I am terrified over that.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be totally fine.
Running out to Ashland's place. Here.
That's a nice countryside drive-through.
Yeah.
There.
You get the white picket fence motif going on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
That is very bright red.
yeah, it's just a bad time of the day. And Ash told me, don't drive up there during that time of the day. And guess what I did? Maybe if we give it about 5 minutes, it'll be okay. I don't have that much time.
I mean, if you're looking at the lighting right now, it looks like those transformative things, like you drop in a tub of water and just like things happen to it and it completely shifts colors and all that. And that's seemingly what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ashland's Country Farm and Villa. It's actually glass over the top of composite lumber, accent with softwood lumbers. And the shutters are done out of composite cedar. Oh, good. Everybody got my message to turn around. Because everybody would be like all stuck.
Yeah, that was...
So again, I'd like to thank SLG for allowing us the time to present our server to everybody. And I would be really remiss if I didn't take a second to recognize the OPR staff and community. We're going on season 33 here. Feels like forever, for the most part. And it wouldn't be possible without our dedicated volunteer staff. A big thanks again to Chicken Clucker, our server owner, to you from all of us. We really appreciate everything that you do for us. Ashlyn, one of our eco admins, she works tirelessly making mods, as many of you have seen. Kopi, one of our Discord admins. He also is a budding modder and has produced some really great materials to share with the community and is continuing to grow every day. And then Omodus Prime, we appreciate his support for server setup especially, and one of our community officers. And Honda Life, our Discord setup officer. Without them and countless other volunteers, we would not have this vibrant community to share with you all. From the bottom of my heart, a big thank you to you all. On the left, we have Edison's Bridge, producing 1.21 gigawatts of power for the community. You can see a clever use of the ERC metal construction blocks. providing lots and lots of power to the community. And on our right here, we have the Brutus, brought to you by Britus. Industrial mega facility.
Oh yeah, that's a factory, all right.
Yes. I'm sure that the pollution that it produces, as it flumes into the sky, into the fragile environment, will have nothing to do with our failure. If the meteor doesn't kill us, this facility might get to us first.
Wow. I definitely took a wrong turn. I'm lost. That's okay.
You zigged when you should have zagged.
Zagged.
Will you be able to catch up is the question. Did you miss a blue arrow? Oh, did you go straight across Edison's bridge? You need to take a right there.
Oh yes, I can see on the map now actually.
Here we are at Britis Estate. I think it's a new server record on our server speed. Done in Ashlar and Limestone, adorned with some 8 Altered Eco mods. You can see those little lights there decorating outside of the facility. 190.86 housing experience. I think Dots and Drift was trying to catch up, but didn't quite make it. And at one point, he actually used to be ahead, but Britis leapfrogged him a couple days ago in the server.
That is quite impressive.
Britis just so happens to be one of our 5 community members that received the Mad Stacks Road Warrior achievement for placing over 10,000 roads. And if you think that that's a lot of roads, here is the actual stats. I need to make another tier. Maybe something like Legends of Logistics. Kobe had 10,514 roads. Moreland Pro, 10,188 roads. Britis with 13,995. Wolfsky with 29,457 roads. And first place, Pax, with 62,012 roads placed in less than a month. Quite the achievement, I must say.
That is some placement.
Yeah, it's really nice to drive around though. There's like everything looks nice. Like a lot of thought's been put into the design of it as well, but there really is roads going everywhere. It's awesome. Thanks for the truck, by the way.
Yeah, he commandeered the truck. You'll never find it again. Hide it somewhere in a corner.
Right,
We have a short section while we make it to Dats and Drift's shop in the jungle.
Yeah, there's a substantial infrastructure organization and construction, that's for sure.
You know, that's one of the things about Eco is there's phases in the game, right? One of them is building roads and how important that is to the progress of the server. Here we are at the Timber and Grub, brought to you by Dats and Drift. Constructed out of palm composites, reinforced concrete, ashlar, limestone, and bringing in a 167 housing score, which actually might now be higher since he was fussing with it before the stream. And take a quick spin through an epic amount of palm trees that I'm sure have been harvested from the world. And you have ahead on the left, straight ahead, is the Dats and Drift's zombie production facility. Actually, I think it's petrol, but I'm sure the green gas inside, I mean, everybody's okay, I'm sure.
Looks perfectly healthy.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and I think roads, as you were saying, like there's a lot of epochs to when you transition into a world, and as you were saying, some people do like the sort of initial bartering and kind of arguing and making sure that you can kind of get your hands on that one specific piece of furniture that you were struggling because the person producing it didn't really want something that you were producing, so you kind of had to leap through hoops to get to a point where you could sell something that he wanted, and then you can get that. And then there's sort of a sense of achievement when you do get all the things that you could get out of it without having a global currency. But at the same time, there's also a lot of people that don't really want to bother with it, and they just want the global currency so they can just, you know, trade with what they have and be able to still acquire something that might not be inside their kind of profession loop. It's always interesting to see how the different servers have solved these different cases, or if they're using like multi-currency types.
Past a huge section of papayas.
Yeah.
The currency deal in the game. Like you're saying, I would say that if you start vanilla with no currency, currency is the first monetary revolution in eco, and it kind of is a lot like it occurs in life, where if you don't have a monetary policy or money of any kind, it's very difficult to trade. And once the money comes in the game, you don't have to bring goods necessarily with you. You can have already stored up that stored labor potential and trade that with somebody else on the server to get what they are making, rather than bringing logs, for example.
Yeah.
Not having to transport things a stack at a time with we have a little bit of a truck disaster going on back here.
I think that's a method to try to save fuel. Climbing up on the other car and have that drive you around.
Yeah, drafting. We used to do that in the United States with the big trucks with your beetle bugs. Not very safe, I must say. So earlier we passed Stryker's place, done in brick and a little bit of hewn. He kind of just wanted to be away from it all and kind of with the lower hustle and bustle. And we drove through a giant papaya field by Alives, and I think her business that we hear here on the right hand side has been closing. Business has been closing since day one. It is yet to close. Yet to close. Constant going out of business sale.
Yeah, we have a rug store near us that's doing that for the last 10 years.
It's common. Gonna pass soon here through our third and fourth tunnel section, or third tunnel section by Britis, done in corrugated steel, and got some of the deco lighting on the sides.
Yeah, as to answer one of the questions in chat, any server manager or server owner that wants to have their server being shown off or taking a part in the community streams and interested, they can give their opinions on how their server is going and how, you know, what makes their server and their community awesome. Just reach out to Dennis and can I send a request to Dennis and describe what your server is going on about and why you want it on the stream, and they'll be happy to review it and check through and kind of explain what's required and what's expected, and we can we definitely set these up as people do request them. So we have one more that's scheduled, and then we have a couple of more update 10 streams coming.
Here we head down into our active mine by Pentagon Dark. There used to be gold and copper in them Dar Hills, but since then it has been completely eradicated. There is no gold or copper in these mines. Turns are a little tight down in this active mine. The tunnel tops are adorned with some kitchen lights, which actually work really well for mining operations. Oh no, we don't have the elevator. That is really unfortunate. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Industrial elevator is on the way, friends. It's good. That'll save us a couple minutes. They're a little slow. Intentionally so. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, I know why that is. Yeah, he he had to pull it up because it was down at 0-0 today. You don't know why?
Never happens. Never happens.
But it's been fixed. We fixed it. So here we are riding up the industrial elevator used to dig out a whole lot of drifting forward. That's not good. Drifting forward on the elevator is not a good thing.
Need your park brake.
That is a mine shaft.
Yeah.
And here's the owner of the Rock and Stone, Mr. Pentagon Dart, saying hello to us as we exit the mine. And we say goodbye to Rock and Stone Industrial Mine and Facility. Yeah, look at that. Ominous Prime controlling traffic for me. I appreciate that. We're going to cross over here our a fourth major bridge project done in Ashlar. Let's wait for the road to load. Don't want any mishaps. That would be bad. Done in Ashlar granite, corrugated steel, and flat steel, and a little bit of ERC metal construction on the sides there. Passing Organic Farmers Logistics Shop. And coming up on our fourth major bridge tunnel project, done in composite lumber on the top, palm, and EM glass and redwood lining the bottom. This one was brought to us by Crazy Yankee.
This was a colorful tunnel. And once again, this road just it goes on in an infinite amount of distance, so I can definitely see the numbers of placed blocks being up there, considering how much of the road is placed.
This tunnel in ashlar and flat steel accents. And here we are at the just coming up on the Robo Shack and what I like to call Gold Tunnel. Our opulence knows no bounds. And here we are at the Robo Shack for all of your electronic needs. A little bit of custom artwork there. We all know how much electronics really loves gold.
Yeah.
And copper. Copper more than gold, actually. The amount of light bulbs that I purchased was mind-boggling. We have 228 double light posts on the server. Oh, this is Kelt's Animal Farm. Usually there's like 30 or 40 animals trapped in here, but not today. There's a lot less. Take a right here onto the side street. Crazy Yankee's personal house. You can see the custom bricks there, a little bit of sand brick, and a little bit of EM mod action in there for the doors.
Yeah, the sand bricks are really blending with the environment, especially when it gets a little bit darker. Swamp.
Headed up to the Witch's Swamp. You're going to be mystified. Some spooky pumpkins here and floating obelisks. This one here is brought to us by Strunkvalken. A little bit of themed build. You see the ERC hedges in full force, and ERC hue and log expansion, which has been really a nice addition for our server. Stuck on a hedge.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool blocks in that mod. The hue and log expansion.
I think the fences really brought a lot to the game. Just being able to have those different fence types.
You don't like using ladders as a fence?
We got one in lumber. I think the lumber block form, but it as we can see, it's not it doesn't have an altered color, so it's just plain lumber-ish. So I do see the appeal of having like a specific type of like the picket fence white thing going on, or general other colors. So
here we have Kopi's shot, brought to you by the letter K and the color blue.
Wow, that is very cool.
Another use of the industrial elevator here on our right-hand side. A little bit of a garden. Ian's Roadworks. Lots and lots of crushed. And his personal house there as we pass in Ashlar.
it's a pretty.
So talking about roads real beat, Blocks Mined. You know, we talked a little bit about roads earlier, but Blocks Mined. So a Mollicane with first at 38,273 blocks mined. Pentagon Dark with 35,833. And TJ with 35,467 blocks mined. This is our 7th tunnel, adorned in ashlar sandstone and limestone. And we've got like little carve outs for the trees there.
That is very pretty.
Feature those. Passing here on the right is the Otter Dump, brought to you by Sanda. Passing over another bridge. This is Moreland Pro's early bridge in the game, built out of brick, glass, and glass structure. We updated it just slightly later on with some lighting.
Something I'm really liking about this server is all of the bridges and the tunnels have like really interesting use of blocks, and there's like a lot of creativity there, but they're not all the same sort of design.
And here's the creators of the Moonlight Escape Park and the Moonlight Bridge, Danda and Razraven. I think sometime during the night they break out into howls and they sit at that park. Here's another tunnel embellishment by Crazy Yankee. A little bit of corrugated steel and redwoods.
Yeah, once again, crazy amount of infrastructure. That is, I love to see like really fleshed out builds and worlds that have you have access everywhere in some way, shape, or form. And the fact that I don't think we've seen a single tunnel that's been identical to another one has been pretty impressive.
Sammy Zilla would like you to stop and eat at the Goblin Goat. Redwood and cedar. Beautiful build. And then on our left is TJ's and Sammy's Ronk and Lonk. So if you want Ronks or Lonks, they have those. A little bit of corrugated steel, some composites, and we got reinforced concrete, some of the custom lighting that Altered Eco has. All sorts of good stuff.
Quite nice.
Quite the build.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We will drive straight away to the meteor location.
yeah,
Did
that
you
is...
guys
driving
want
on
to
the
do?
left.
Did you guys want to do the meteor shoot on stream?
I'm keen if you are.
He always
How many
likes to
lasers
see...
did you say you have?
I believe it's quite a few. Yeah, Toby always likes to see the meteors exploding.
We're headed up to the laser observation park. I'm sure there's enough parking for all 12 of the cars or whatever that's following right now.
That is where I'm at right now.
I'll sit up there.
Oh boy.
On the volume a little bit.
There we go.
Oops, sorry. I'm from Australia. We drive on the other side of the road. I'm sorry. This is all new to me. We drive on the correct side of the road.
We'll get Sanda up here in Razraven since they were the ones that built the laser park. We have a small chess location here. As we can see, it's... Oh, white did in fact go. Excellent.
Yeah, someone
And
has moved it.
Yeah, laser practice location. We was utilizing the rocks to shoot the meteor out of the sky. And we can see that we have 8 lasers at this particular location ready to blast the meteor out of the sky. Guys, just about ready here, I think.
There's a game of chess going on in the background here as well.
Excellent.
It is quite nice. And once again, there's a level of anticipation for these community streams, at least from the team in particular, to kind of see what players are doing with the materials they have on hand and the tools they have on hand. So it's always quite fun for us to see what is accomplished and how it's being done. And I know some people are concerned with when it comes to like gameplay things where they're doing, they're using things very, different from design implementation perspective versus what is actually being used for them, and that, that we'd go out of our way of nerfing a certain way of doing things or completely altering how it looks. But in fact, we do really like just seeing the crazy things people do, and are kind of trying to incorporate what they can do into our design ideas, as well as further expanding on it. And just as a quick note for the mod stuff, if you are a modder and you have some specific concerns or issues where you might be missing certain mechanics that might not be available to the mod kit, we do recognize that vehicles at the moment are still unfortunately restricted into the dev tier. But you can talk to Dennis about those things. And we also try to expand the mod kit with specific feature and functionality requests from the modders as well, if there's something that they feel like they really need to have access to be able to do this amazing creative new thing. So just want to let that be out there to just like make sure that if you run into problems with mods in terms of restrictions from our end, don't hesitate to reach out, because we do want to make sure that people have the tools that they need to be able to do the things that they want to do. How are we looking?
All right.
We seeing that
It
flying
has
stone here?
officially entered the targeting window.
So yeah, as a quick note for blowing up meteors, so if you do have conservations and don't want to see that because you haven't done it in your world, or just
Spoiler alert.
yeah, just the spoiler alert thing.
It's happening. Wow.
Need more lasers.
True. Requires a lot more power. We're using 85,000 kilowatts for our 14.
There it goes.
That is the meteor
Yay.
blown up and another world saved.
We need some dramatic music for when we show that. At least for on the stream.
With that, Jens, I appreciate the time. I'll turn it back to you.
I don't think we can transition back out of that. So, it's been quite fun to watch it. It's been a blast being invited into your worlds, even though you're on our stream platform and so on. But we do feel very privileged of having our users go through their worlds with us and kind of show off what they've done and all of that. So it's a very mutual thank you for being here. And I think Toby is probably in the same corner there, where we're just very humbled of seeing our users be able to do these things, and also happy to provide a platform for them to be able to show these things off. So
yeah, I really enjoy these streams. Like, it does feel like you're kind of being welcomed into a community. It's like you're like meeting a whole bunch of new people and seeing what they're doing. Like, the thing I wanted to mention about this particular server was I really enjoyed the transition of different areas. Like, it really felt like I was traveling a globe. There's like a lot of like consistency to the way that the infrastructure was done. Yeah, great job. Good server. 10 out of 10. Would visit again.
yeah, would visit again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we'll call it an evening here, and we have another community stream coming up, and then we'll be back on schedule with things and updates and all the relative functionalities and features of update 10 that's coming as well. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for being with us for a little bit over an hour here. So hope everyone had a good time, and we'll catch you next week.
Boy.
Bye bye.